Strasburg wasn't great. The bullpen was fantastic. And then your young Bucks just came up huge with Robles and Soto late in the game.
Yeah, it was, two stud pitchers, Nola third in Cy Young last year, Strauss, who's been terrific his last start against the Mets. You figure it's going to be a pitcher's duel, one-run game, and some great at-bats on both sides, grinding out at-bats and driving Strauss's pitch count up. And we got to Nola late, and the bullpen did their job, and we're really consistent, and we got some big hits, and hey, I think it's playing out the script as we discussed when we were sitting there in West Palm. This National League East is no joke. This thing is going to be a meat grinder the whole way. We're every game counts, every inning counts, every 90 feet count. We're going to have to scrimp and battle for each advantage you have. You have to play clean games, get 27 outs, only allow 27 outs, and really be aggressive on the base paths and scrappy. This is a scrappy bunch of guys. I tell you, we talked about how we were going to score runs this season without Harp, and I said that I think we'd score plenty of runs, enough runs, but we were going to score them differently. And I think you've seen that with Victor Robles playing extremely well at the bottom of the lineup, the top of the lineup doing well, especially with Trey out, one of our best offensive players, and we're just grinding away. We haven't played really well in our first 10 games. We've faced some extremely good pitching as we are going to be the entire season in the National League East, and I think we're getting our sea legs right now and starting to play the game a little bit better as you've seen it throughout the course of this really early season.
Mike, you touched on facing Nola twice already, and you have to like the fact that the Nats have hit him for 10 earned runs in 2 appearances. That'll change over time. And like you mentioned, it's a grinder, it's a long season, but you have to like that early success against Philly's ace.
Sure, Nola's tough, man. He's a 3-pitch mix. He's got that that breaking ball from hell, and throws hard and commands and really competes. So, those great pitchers, you have to get them early in the season, early in games, and take advantage of all of the opportunities you have. With the DeGroms and the Syndergaards and those type of pitchers, you've got to make your chances count, and because you don't get a lot of them because they're that good.
Mike, you mentioned sitting down with us at West Palm, and one of the great privileges for us, and, we're not over there every day. We work early in the morning. It's weird. But when we go to West Palm, one of the great opportunities for us is to get to meet some of the guys. And there is nobody that I developed a bigger man crush on while we were there for those 2-3 days than Trevor Rosenthal. That guy was incredible. I just fell in love with him. Great guy, and he struggled. We all know this. This is just more of a procedural. A total believer in your back of the baseball. Like, that's what's going to play out. What these guys typically do is probably what they're going to do. He's clearly struggling a little bit. With someone like that, with his pedigree, his major league service, do you have the ability, if you wanted to send him down for a couple months to work on things, or does he have to work on things up here?
We don't. Unfortunately, with the basic agreement, he's earned the right to have to. He would have to allow us to option him down. He does have options left, but he has the service time where we have to get his consent to do it. He's struggled. You can't sugarcoat it. He's struggled. He's spraying his fastball, and his mechanics are out of whack. And for relief pitchers, especially in the big leagues, it's really, really difficult to work on things during the season because you may have to have the opportunity to pitch in that particular game. So it's not like a starting pitcher where you have 4 days off. You can work on something diligently in between your starts. Relievers a little different. So we're working hard. He's working extremely hard. We've got our pitching coach Derek Lilliquist and Henry Blanco, our bullpen coach, working with him. We're looking at film. We're tweaking some parts of his delivery. We're going to send some of our pitching gurus from our minor leagues that have seen him in the past, like Spin Williams. He's going to meet us when we get at home and kind of walk us through what he thinks are some issues and that type of thing. And unfortunately for Rosie is the fact that it's kind of a catch-22. You're not pitching well, so you don't pitch, and when you don't pitch, you don't get much feel. So this guy's too important to us. He's been too good in his career, and the good news about Trevor is that his arm has come back. His durability is there. His velocity is there. And with those Tommy John guys, and we've had a lot of them over the years, and I've had a lot of them, is the last thing to come is the command, he's struggling mightily with his mechanics, which affect his command, which makes it a little bit more difficult to pitch him in some leverage situations. But we're certainly not giving up on him. He's not giving up on himself. This guy's pitched in big-time games in the past, in the not-so-distant past, and he's going to help us as this season unfolds.
Yeah, I just fell in love with the guy. I thought he had a great personality. I'm rooting for him like you wouldn't believe. Is it still true, Mike, what I read was that early on anyway, his mechanics and everything looked fine in the bullpen and everything. It's just that when he got into the game and the adrenaline's flowing and it becomes a high-pressure situation, then things kind of fall apart. Is that true still?
Well, I think that's true in any case in any sport. It's you've been on the driving range before when little no pressure and you're hitting the ball on the sweet spot and it's driving it straight, and then you get to the first tee, and you shank one. So I think that's true. It's like anything else. You have to when you haven't pitched in 2 years and you haven't you don't have that second deck syndrome of these big league stadiums with 45,000 people at it like we've been playing on the road and at home. So when we had our team meeting early on, everything is great. We all have a plan on how the season's going to go and what our personal season is going to be like, what our team season is going to be like, until you get punched in the mouth, and then you have to make alternative plans. And the bullpen got punched in the mouth early. We I think have shown a vast improvement over the last 4 or 5 outings. We've relied on them quite a bit. We're going to rely on them quite a bit. When you look at this at the game as it stands today, we're 10 games into it. What are we? We're not even 5% of the season's not even done. But bullpens in general have been struggling, and I think with the early start of spring training and the games in spring training that start like 4 days after you report, it gets tougher and tougher for these, especially for these relievers, to get fully ready for the season.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us the latest on the Bud Norris situation?
Bud's a guy that we have interest in. He's in West Palm now. We're evaluating him physically. Mm-hmm. And I think if our doctors and our pitching coaches down there like what they see, we'll probably give him an opportunity on a minor league contract to see what he's got left. And if he's an upgrade of one of the 8 relievers that we have now, you may see him in the big leagues. If not, he'll be a depth piece for us in the minor leagues. But nothing's imminent. We haven't signed him yet, but we are looking at him.
I know that he was with St. Louis last year, and then Toronto signed him and then released him. Do you know why they released him?
Well, all these guys who are who are veteran major leaguers like he is, Bud was. Is that they all have opt-outs in their contract. So a lot of times if they don't make the big league clubs, they opt out and try and get a better opportunity with another major league club.
Gotcha.
That's all it is.
I know that you, Mike, have a sense of calm about, the fact that it's only the 10th game and referring to last night's game. But fans think, some fans think differently. And I kind of just said, you know what, that was a big swing game the way you guys came back last night, trailing 6-1. I thought the game was over. Strauss obviously didn't have it. And, how many teams blow 5-run leads at home? Doesn't happen much. But last night's comeback was one of those games, and I don't want to call it momentum shifter, but kind of was because, if you lose that game, you've lost 3 out of 4 to Philly, whereas now, and you would have been 3 back, now you're only 2 back, and now you're 5-5. I just thought that emotionally and mentally it was just a huge win for you guys.
Yeah, I don't want to discount any win, especially that type of win. Right. But everything you said is accurate and true. I don't put as much credence on it as maybe you do.
Mm-hmm.
At this point of the season, I think momentum is the next night's starter, and you'll wash this one off, and you win, lose, or draw, you wash it off, and you have tee it up again tonight at 7, and try and take another series. That's what we're all about. Win series, play well. Grind it out. This is a scrappy bunch of guys. The one thing I will say about this team is that it was 6-1, easy time to kind of shut it down and look towards winning the series, to the next day and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. I saw veterans like Brian Dozier, Jan Gomes, Suzuki. These guys are on the top step of the dugout, 6-1 against NOLA, and still screaming and yelling and grinding away. I don't think that's lip service. I don't think that's fake rah-rah stuff. This is a team that grinds it out every day. It's a scrappy bunch of guys. Like I said, we're going to score our runs, but we're going to score them differently in different ways. And I think that it's a team that our fan base in DC is really going to wrap their arms around because it's a great bunch of guys being aggressive, playing with their hair on fire, doing running the bases aggressively, swinging the bats aggressively, pitching aggressively, and I think you've seen improvements in all those areas of the baseball team, especially the bullpen, where we've had a couple of meetings and said we need to be aggressive, we need to throw strike one, and we need to attack hitters, and look at the back of your own baseball cards, because you guys are really good and you're not performing up to where you're expected to perform. So I think they've taken that message, and I think there's a lot of pride on this team, and like I said, this is going to be a dogfight and a meat grinder all season. So strap it on and get ready for an exciting season in National League East. And our fan base is going to love this season. It's going to be a grinder, but they're going to love it, and they're going to show up, and they're going to be louder than the Phillies fans, louder than the Mets fans, and it's going to be a great achievement for any team that gets through this National League East this year.